What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Ace Boogie coming to you live and direct. Want to break down my MCIG trade today. Here's the daily chart pulled up. First and foremost, I want to say how I found this stock. So MCIG has been on my watch list since this day right here, since January 17th. Since that day, I left it on the watch list, never deleted it off. It was still trading above average volume on these down days and these consolidation days compared to what it was trading at before. And I just happened to look at it as it was starting to break out over these highs. And this is not only a multi day breakout, but it's also a multi week breakout. If you zoom in, I got some commentary right here. Just ignore that if you can. Matter of fact, we'll do it like this. Boom, perfect. So here it is right here. So it's a multi-day breakout, but it's also a multi-week breakout. So these it's breaking over weekly highs. It's been under this 5 cent region for a while, and today's the first day it's breaking over it in a few months. So that's why it's called a multi-month breakout. Multi-month, multi-week, and multi-day. But let's get into what I did specifically. Um, I caught this right at the end of the morning, going into midday. That's when it was starting to break out over the morning highs. So it spiked up, came back down, grinded its way back up, and around 11 a.m., it broke out over this 490 area. I was able to get long. I think I had like a 497 average whenever it was all said and done, including commissions and whatnot. So I was able to catch it pretty close to this breakout level, which I'm pretty stoked about. It spiked up, came down, and it actually pushed all the way up to 550. And I missed this push up to 550. I probably would have just sold it right here if I saw that real time, but I must have put my phone down or must have been looking at something else and I missed it. And I didn't see it till it was already coming back down in the 530s. So this is typical first green day price action. You get a spike up, a pullback consolidation near the pullback level. MSIG held this 510 area. And I'll put a line up here so you can see a little bit better. Held that support area all afternoon. And that's what I was looking at. I was looking at what area on the chart was going to hold throughout the midday consolidation, throughout the low volume lull, and 510 was that area. So once 230 hit, um, the stock started gaining a lot of volume. It actually had the most volume that it had all morning in this 5 minute candle, or most volume it had all day in this 5 minute candle in the afternoon, right at 2:30. And it showed that the stock can still spike. It can break out over the highs, and it showed to me that this resistance was not a brick wall. It's penetrable, you know. So once it pushed over 550, I actually had a sell order somewhere in here. Didn't execute. I think I had it right at 559, 0559, but just didn't get executed. So it came back down, held a slightly higher low off of this 510 support area. I think this was like 517 on the low. And then from there, it, you know, spiked back up, grinded back up, retested this 550 area, broke out again over the 550 area, came back down and pushed over to new highs. Didn't want to get greedy with this. Um, so I went ahead and sold half my position right as it broke over the the highs. And once I saw that the spike was continuing nicely and had a nice push, I sold into this push my other half. So pretty decent setup here. It came all the way up. It basically topped out at 590. So just under six. There was some major resistance right in this area, some big sellers, and it just wasn't enough volume at the end of the day to really push it past these levels. So it kind of sold off and it's back down at or closed at 0.0561. So this I got some good sells in here. Ended up banking, I want to say around 10%. No, it's around 14%, I believe. I ended up banking around 14% on this, but you got to look at the structure of this pattern. Stocks that spike can spike more. So the initial spike was from when it opened to the 490 level. Got to recognize that. It usually pulls back after that. And then once that morning high gets broken, that's your entry right here above this morning high, this breakout level. What I'll do is I'll open up this one. So once again, you buy the morning breakout on these first screen days or buy the morning dip. This is the dip right here. You can buy either here or here in the morning. And you look for it to continue to spike. Put in a morning high. The morning high is usually put in, around usually before 12 o'clock. So whatever the high is before 12 o'clock, which is 550 level. And then you look for it to pull back and hold a support level. Ideally, you want it to hold as much of its spike as possible. So if it spiked up all the way up here and pull back down here and the support level is down here, it's a less likely chance that it'll go back up because it's not holding enough of its spike. This one held the spike beautifully. The spike went from, it was a 30% spike, right? And then it only came down 5% off of that. So people who bought early in the morning are still holding 25% of that spike. It's little nuances like this you gotta kind of pay attention to, especially with pattern recognition. So it spiked, came down, held a support level, and continued. And of course, time of day matters as well. So when it's breaking out over this morning high, it's around this 2:30, 3 o'clock area. Right here is when it starts to break out over that morning high, around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Same time of day. This is when the action happens. You can even, if you're optimistic, you can buy right at this 550 level and try to sell it into the 590s and make, a few percentage points there. But the key takeaway is entry in the morning and waiting for this afternoon ramp and not to panic. You can't panic when it's low volume and you see it selling off and it's coming back down. You can't panic on that. You got to figure out where this morning low is and look for it to hold that low and to eventually make higher lows off of that support level. So once again, going back and looking at the daily chart, this is a multi-day breakout from a few days ago when it had a big spike. A few days ago is when it initially made my watch list. And this is also a multi-month breakout over the 5 cent area. So this is that 48.90. It broke out over that and kind of topped out at 6 cents. It looks better on a weekly chart though. Weekly candles, you can see it better. So it's breaking out over this level right here and continuing. No surprise that it topped out around 6 cents because that's where the next resistance areas are all throughout here. So it's going to need a heck of a lot of volume to continue. It's been getting decent volume so far, but probably going to need volume and another catalyst to keep it going. And this is a first green day. If you play it as a first green day, you still play it the same way. If you play it as a breakout, you play it the same way. First green, I would play this as a first green day just because the resistance area is so close. I wouldn't really play as a breakout. Or a breakout, I'm more liable to swing it overnight and hold it for multiple days. But when the resistance levels are just right here, it's hard to see this continuing all the way into this level. It could, these things can do whatever they want to anytime it wants to do it, and you just got to react to it. But likeliness and the odds are not on your side, especially since it didn't have the strongest of closes. It closed probably about 5% off its highs. So that's it. Just reviewing this, looking at the intricate details, the nuances, different time frames. Look at the 15-minute chart. Even the consolidation area on the 15-minute chart, you can see the base of support, and then as you can see towards the afternoon, how it doesn't touch the line anymore. The line is 510 right here, so it touches it right here. It touches it right here. It almost touches it right here. It was 511 right here. It's 511 again right here. Low again is 511. Then boom, the low is 517. That's your indicator right here that it's getting ready to switch up on you. Whenever this higher low comes into play, right around the key time of day is when you want to be around and be ready to get positioned for this. Hope this video helps. Hope it helps you identify these patterns real time. Hope you can see what I see. And if you don't be afraid or hesitant to ask me any type of questions in the comments or in the chat room or whatever. If you got anything else for me, just hit me up. I'm trying to think. I think of some other notable runners. MGM was a decent runner today. I made like $20 off it. I kind of jacked it up. I wasn't patient enough, and I kind of overtraded it a bit. So on MGM, just zoom out a little bit. MGM, I bought it as it was breaking out over the previous day highs. I think the previous day highs was like 163. Yeah, it was right here. So the previous day highs was 163 right here. I got long right there and I sold half of it at 175. And then I ended up adding a few to it and coming back. My bad. So here's what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. I bought over this breakout right here, thinking it would go. It went for a little bit and then it came down hard. I tried to buy some more on a dip to see if it would just hold this breakout area somewhere in the 160s. It didn't, so I cut it off quick. Ended up green on it still. Um, if I would have held probably about 15 more minutes, it could have broke back out and I could have sold into the push shorts too. But it is what it is. This one was kind of tricky to play, and I got out of this one to actually get into MCIG. I was looking at other plays that might have been better. So another notable one is NNVC. I was a little bit too early on this bounce. I wanted to catch the bounce. Oh, we did go down to 750. Now it's back at 845. Look at that. I called that. I said if it bounced down to 750, it'd be worth a dip buy. And this is what I mean. And this is why I said this. So it had this, 3 big up days and one massive down day on today. But look where it ends at. It dropped down to 756, and look at this support level right here. Nah, what was I seeing it at? Right here, this day right here. The high was 748, so I'm thinking this was going to be supported somewhere between 748 and 750. Right now, it's actually bounced off of that 756 level, so it's almost lines up perfectly. Technical analysis, support becomes resistance. So it lines up perfectly on this day. This day was resistance. It came up, got rejected, came back down. The next day it broke through, came back down. And when it's coming down today, it came all the way down and rested right on this point from the beginning of the run up. So it's acting as support right now. So on this one, you should see a first green day for tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised, especially since it was on SSR today. Another one notable to talk about is FCell. FCell had a decent first green day today. It trades funky just because it's a penny stock, but it has a huge float, so it requires a lot of volume. It trades in like clumps, so it had a nice push in the morning, right up to this 180 level, and it's basically been consolidating near this 180 level all day. At one point, it actually pushed up to 185, but it came back down. So it's one to watch tomorrow. SAVA, this one, I don't know with this one. This one's kind of funky. I would leave this one alone. It's up 24%. It had a massive midday squeeze from the 750s all the way to the 950s. Breakout level right here. If you want the breakout over the morning high, it's just tough to buy at midday because it has time to come back down and lose a lot of potential on that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. CODX, I was looking at this for possibly another short this morning, but I just left it alone because this one's kind of tricky, and I wasn't sure what news could possibly come out with this coronavirus stuff. So any news can swing this one way or the other, especially overnight. So best to play these safely. But overall, pretty proud of the MCIG trade. Took the meat of the move, made a little over 14%, and I'm glad. So that's it.